You want to be close to me.
I don't like not sitting close to you. It's weird.
It's true. The couch is pretty long. It's a long couch. It's a stuffy. I don't even know where this came from.
Your mom.
Yeah, yeah, I know that part, but like,
Oh,
well, awesome. Welcome to Safe Together. This is the Together series with Fran.
hi everyone.
Fran, how's our day going?
Great.
Amen. You can pull it closer to your face if you want to lean back.
I'm scared I'm gonna cough into it.
It's okay. I'm the one who edits these.
How do I pull it closer to my face?
Do you want some help? And then rotate. Yeah, pivot it out. There you go. Nice. Yeah, so last night you had a really hard time sleeping.
I did not sleep at all last night, except for 1 hour. It's probably 6:30 to 7:30. Is it too far?
Yeah, if you could bring it a little closer, I can help you.
I just don't want to cough. They're gonna hear all my congestion.
It's okay.
Oh, this is close.
Yeah, you want to kiss the mic? Not actually, of course. But yeah,
I only slept for 1 hour. It was 6:30 to 7:30.
yeah. I'm glad you woke me up. You woke me up to watch a movie in the middle of the night.
Yeah, it was so sad.
It was tough. It was tough to, I think, right before you fell asleep. That was a tough moment for me too.
Oh, yeah, I started crying because I was so overwhelmed. Because this isn't like last night wasn't the first night that I've been having trouble sleeping.
But is
It's
it
like
the first
every
time
night.
you haven't been able to fall asleep the whole night?
The whole night, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Like there have been nights where I've only slept like maybe like 3 hours.
Yeah.
But last night was the first time where I couldn't sleep at all. Like not a lick.
Yeah.
Except for that 1 hour.
And
After
then,
that cry.
oof. Yeah, that was tough. And then we woke up and got ready to go to an oral surgeon appointment.
Joe got oral surgery.
I got my bottom two wisdom teeth taken out and the third tooth taken out. I think it's number 18. And that's on me because it went bad. It was like rotten and they couldn't save it because I avoided going to the dentist. Don't do it, kids. And we had to pay a lot of money out of pocket.
Yeah.
They didn't have a payment plan.
Yeah. So weird. But God is good because we had enough. We have enough.
Yeah, we have enough.
So.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
So now we came home. I took a nap. You went to your appointment. Your gyno, OB-GYN. And then
the appointment. Came back and knocked out.
You took a nap. I ate some ice cream and worked on some stuff. And now
here we are.
Here we are recording a pod.
Yeah.
I said it's a great day. We should record a pod. This sounds like a sob story.
I will say it is really fun recording a podcast.
It is fun. I love recording a podcast with you.
It is very fun. So I see why you brought that up to bring up spirits. I feel much better after sleeping, actually.
Oh, I bet. I mean, you hadn't slept for like 24 plus hours, 36 plus hours.
Yeah, but now I'm like, I could still probably fall back asleep.
Yeah, that's good. That makes me happy. Yeah, we'll probably go to bed after this.
So fingers crossed.
Yeah, your mom's coming over tomorrow to help us clean.
Yeah, she's coming over.
The place is a mess.
It's like a tornado came through.
Yeah.
But praise God for parents.
Amen.
Praise God for community and family.
Seriously, we've got good people around us.
We have good people.
We're very, very blessed.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. But yeah. So I love you, Fran. What an interesting season of life.
I know.
You know, someone was telling me about this. They're like the podcast with you and Fran is probably going to do very well because people are very interested in the stage of life you're in.
In the stage of life that we're in.
Yeah, like young couples about to start having kids. I was like, really? I feel like there's a ton of content about that. Maybe he's like young Christian couples about to have kids. I don't even really know. But I thought that was an interesting comment.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think I mean, and we've had conversations about this before because Joe would be like looking through his stats on Instagram or whatever, and he'll be like, "See, every post with you just does such a good job."
Everyone loves you.
Well, and I was telling him, I was like, I don't think it's necessarily me, but I think it's that people are really infatuated with this idea of love because everybody's looking for love.
Hmm.
Like, even though they have, you know, an infinite God that loves them, and like, you know, in the Christian realm, that's kind of what we talk about, right? Um, Even that, even though you know you have that, you still kind of search for that through like relationships and connection and vulnerability and transparency. So
Hmm.
I think there's this aspect of love that people are like kind of infatuated
So,
with.
how do you, if you met somebody who was, let's go stages of life.
Mhm.
Middle school, how do you find love?
Middle school,
I don't know who's watching this.
how do you find love? Like in terms of like how do you find a healthy love,
Like,
or what do you think middle
what are your
schoolers should?
thoughts on like the stage of life and cultivating loving relationships that are romantic? We'll keep it in that category.
Oh, in middle school, you should not be having romantic relationships. I find that so weird.
Yeah,
Although we've definitely done that though. Like back when I was in middle school,
yeah, yeah.
I definitely like had my little like, you know,
This is my
my little
boo.
pooks, you know.
Okay, okay. You gotta stop, man. Fran has this strange like desire to call me Pookie, and specifically to call me Pooks.
All right. I need to normalize this. You need to see how normal it is
No,
that people use the term pooks.
no one's using the term Pooks.
You literally
Nobody
saw that in
nobody around
one of our
me.
friends' phones.
Yeah, but like
For his
he's from another
fiance.
country initially. You know what I'm saying? Like,
All right. You guys better blow this up and comment and be like, Joe, you're weird for not wanting to call Fran or have
Pookie,
Fran call you Pooks.
Pooks. That's
Pookie
so
goes
weird.
hard. Whatever.
No, Pookie
I
does
think
not
you
go
just
hard.
need to warm up to it, and I think it'll be fine.
Anyways,
Back to the middle school conversation. In terms of romantic relationships,
I fundamentally agree. I don't
I
think.
think middle schoolers are trying to piece together and understand what romantic relationships are and what they actually signify and mean. And I think they see it from the outside looking in through like TV shows and movies and maybe even like their parents' marriage or seeing couples like outside. And they have middle schoolers are like sponges. So they see it and they take it and they're like, that's what a romantic relationship is. I'm just supposed to hold hands with someone. And when, oh my gosh, dude, the way that some of my clients will talk about like this is freaking hilarious. How they're like, I'm planning on hugging him today. And you're like, stop. Because they're like, that's like the first like point of contact
Yeah,
physically.
that's fair. You know, that's
But
real.
when they look at like relationships, all they see, the first thing that they'll see is obviously the physical side of it.
Yeah,
They're
for
able to
sure.
identify it because, oh, they hold hands. Oh, they hug. Oh, they kiss. And so they want to like, they get like infatuated with that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's so real. They're like, he stopped hugging me. Like, is this a sign?
Is it over?
Like, probably, hun. But it's okay because you shouldn't be dabbling in this anyway.
Okay. So middle school, no. So what kind of love should a middle schooler be looking for?
Oh my gosh.
We work with adolescents. So like
Yeah.
Fran's a therapist if you didn't know, and I'm a youth pastor.
There's something in my eye. Oh.
Did you get it?
Yeah, I did.
Nice.
The type of love. I feel like they should be seeking like love for building the future.
I did not see that
Like,
coming.
I don't think it should be like a relational, like, yes, like a relational, like loving your parents and loving your family. But that can be tough when you're in middle school because you don't even understand yourself. And like sometimes you're in that process of like figuring out how am I integrating like into this family, right? But they're sponges. They're like absorbing, right?
Yeah.
All of these things. And so, like, I just took a parenting training class, and they were talking about how, like, adolescents specifically, like, they need external motivators. They need that in order to have internal motivation. Why? Because they're just like absorbing everything from out here and taking it into here. And so that's usually I'm like, if they can find love in like exploring the world around them, like just through like new experiences or that are safe, right?
Yeah. So you don't think there's a side of like learning to explore like the dynamics of a relationship? Not necessarily a romantic one, but in general, like learning to love, exploring in general, whether it's like getting to know a friend or building or getting to know your family or getting to about like falling in love with the search for things. Is that kind of like what you're saying?
Yeah, kind of. I do think that like that's a challenge for the middle school population in general, is trying to figure out who they are and what it means to be in the system around them. And I've seen middle schoolers fall into that trap where it's like, where they're trying to even develop that like healthy friendship, relational love, but so much of their identity can be wrapped up in that it just becomes unhealthy. Like their identity is based off of like if this person likes them or not, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the reason why it's like,
Interesting.
it's like, all right, like let's just like kind of focus your attention on what is under your scope of control rather than what's like not, which is other people's opinions about you.
Interesting. All right, so relationships, like romantic ones, high school.
Oh gosh.
Stage of life.
Oh gosh.
We're really dropping the hot takes.
All right. High school is an interesting one because it's 4 years. And really, your last 2, you're kind of really focused on like the future too, you know? I feel like that's where they begin to create this unrealistic narrative of like, I have to have everything figured out, like for college. I think the love that high schoolers, in terms like romantic, so I gotta sit and think about it.
I'll give my opinion, and mine even breaches into college, right? I feel like romantic relationships are meant to fill a specific void, or maybe not void in the best sense, but like there's a role for them. No, I'm talking about in general. Right, there's a role for them that is actually assigned. Like God talks about man leaving his father and mother to go be with his wife, and they become like a new family, right? Like we are no longer like my parents are now technically my extended family because we are the immediate family for each other.
Yeah.
Which is cool, but I think that until there's like I've got like a checklist of things that are in my mind. 1, you can pay for dates on your own.
Facts.
2, you can drive the other person to the date on your own.
That's fair.
Bro, there's nothing crustier than getting dropped off and asking for money for a date. So
that's
that
fair.
For me, that like weeds out a lot of stuff. 3, you've gone through a process of processing your past so you understand how it's currently impacting your present. Like I think that a lot of people go into relationships but they don't realize how like their relationship with their parents is actually impacting how they view this person or how they're approaching even conflict or how they're approaching their own thought process or how they even view themselves. And I think that until you go through that, like you're going to walk in and you're going to react to a lot of things instead of responding to things because you don't have the information that you need.
Right. I think high school is where you kind of get to that level where either people are, you start to like separate the wheat from the chaff, you know, where it's like either people have a high sensitivity of their self-awareness or they don't. And they're still, and honestly, like as a person who kind of like did the whole relationships in middle school, I feel like that's what actually carried over into high school was that I didn't really like know who I was and I wasn't even self-aware. I was just going off of what other people were saying, you know? So I do think that has like a significant impact on whether you're ready or not for
Because I even go back to like our story, and we started. I mean, we didn't technically start dating till out of high school, but we basically were dating like a year left into high school, if not sooner.
Yeah, maybe like
Maybe like
our
11th.
senior year.
Yeah, 11th, end of 11th grade into 12th grade for sure.
Yeah.
And I don't think that I had enough information about myself to handle that
100%.
relationship well.
100%, me too.
And it wasn't until I went through Celebrate Recovery because of an
Yeah.
addiction that I was like, oh, like I'm massively insecure. And it just kind of like clicked. And I started doing all this work. And then all the moments that I had with you where I was like trying to just earn your approval or whatever kind of came back to my mind. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I wasn't serving you. I was trying to serve me through your approval,
Yeah, yeah.
which is a really wild kind
Yeah.
of concept or thing to realize.
100%. And I think I was definitely trying to search after like validation and affirmation, but just in a very different way.
Mhm.
Like on my end, it was like, I want you to like show up for me and tell me that I'm valuable by doing XYZ things.
Mhm.
And like how much you would do for me or sacrifice for me would be essentially a determination of my worth, which was like crazy.
Yeah.
So
It
we
was,
were definitely not ready for that.
but it's just so interesting. So, okay. So then college. Well, maybe we can pivot this because I feel like college is that transition phase where you're like, okay, now I see that I'm more likely to be able to have a moment of true self-awareness and really discovering who I am.
Yeah.
So what do you think are some of the keys that people need? Because then after college, right? College, young adult years, whatever it may be, you can find 30-year-olds that aren't ready to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
what are the keys to being able to actually step in and have a loving, healthy, romantic relationship in your opinion?
I think that genuinely, like, every college student needs, like, at least 2 years of singleness. Like, just 2 years of singleness and just adventuring and exploring platonic relationships.
Yeah.
With guys and girls.
Well.
Right? Yeah. Because I think...
non-sexual platonic relationships.
Yeah, no,
because that's 100%. Not a real thing. No. That's what I mean. Is like if you're having sex with somebody, it's not platonic.
Right. But I think that there's such a value, and I feel like this is where you learn the basics of like, man, when I encourage and I serve my friends, like this is what's up, you know? And then from there it can blossom and grow into, you know, what that looks like in a romantic setting. But if you can't ever do it platonically without like expectation of anything even coming back to you, how are you going to do that in a relationship, you know? How are you really going to build a selfless relationship? So it's like...
Well, I guess that goes back to this idea of what relationships are supposed to be built off of. And I was talking about this with what's his name? Justin.
What's his name?
I knew it. But we were talking about like relationships and how the best relationships are built on service.
Yeah.
And like the man leads through service. And I think that's a really interesting thing.
100%.
What have you had to learn about service in relationships? In our relationship, either the first time we dated or now or whatever it may be.
Man. Well, even the way that you go about serving someone, like sometimes the way you think that person would receive the service best isn't actually the best. You know what I'm saying? So like your idea of how to serve them best might not even be that good. Well, just to be really humble, right? Like, and I think so many people can kind of get frustrated. I know I did, where I'm like, it's supposed to be this way. You know, like kind of having an expectation of like A plus B equals C. Like that's how it is in my mind. But then when you actually sit down and talk with the person, you're like, oh, that wasn't really the best way of serving you. Like for me, in the back of my mind, sometimes I'm a natural like acts of service person. So I want to do stuff for you. But for you, you really like words of affirmation. So like writing like letters and stuff like that is really significant to you.
Yeah.
And it's not that one is right and one is not right.
It's just one's more effective for communicating love to the other person.
Exactly. And then I would get frustrated being like, but I'm out here like doing all these things and I feel like I'm not being appreciated. And you're like, yeah, it's just not like really the highest frequency of how I like hear your, you know,
which is so funny.
Act of love.
Because like words are way more efficient.
Yeah. That's fair. But like for me, like remember how like that's what my love language is. So I think that that's like the best, you know. And I'm like, oh, if that's not the way of I'm receiving love,
And
then
of course it's
of
gonna be
course Joe's
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
the same way.
That's so funny. Of course. We're the
No,
same.
duh. We're one.
I love the people that have said like, "Oh my gosh, you and Fran are like exactly the same." I'm like, exactly the same.
We are not the same.
We're very different people.
So different. I think we have the same like energy sometimes.
The same. We have a lot of joy, both of us.
Yeah. But I think also like just the way that sometimes we can discern things can be the same. But also at the same time I'm like, isn't this just basic wisdom, y'all? Like, come on. But it's okay. Maybe some people don't catch on.
Hey, it is what it is. That's so funny.
Not to shame other people, not to brag, but sometimes I'm just like, maybe we do have a certain way of like just thinking through things, breaking things down.
Well, I think I will say this. We've been friends for a long time.
Yeah, but there's a large gap period that was like a catalyst in our character growth that we were not part of.
Yeah, but like even still, like I don't know. I feel like sometimes I'll go back and hear how I was thinking in the past and I'm like, wow, that was actually like I'm impressed with like what old Joe was up to. Sometimes. Not all the time. And I'm like, oh wow, that's nuts. And so I feel like because we've been thinking together for a long time and sharing thoughts with each other for a long time, we probably have a greater understanding of how the other one thinks more than we think.
Probably, yeah. That makes sense.
Because like Joe in high school wasn't thinking like crazy things. He just was incredibly insecure. But like we used to share our thoughts and ideas with each other still.
That's fair. Still do to this day.
Yeah, we still do.
I think also a lot of it. Sorry, I know you're ready to move on.
Oh no, we've been talking for almost a half an hour.
Oh wow. Well, the last thing is that I feel like a lot of the stuff that we live by is just on principles.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
so
fair.
if you can like take the principle, break it down, and apply it to this arena.
Principles are life shortcuts.
Yeah. Essentially, it's like coding.
Yeah, it always works.
Yeah. Although there are some times where there's gray areas in life, But I think the principles remain consistent and they show consistent results time and time again if applied right. So I think that we also have a good understanding of that.
Yeah, I think I got like there's like a piece of skin in my mouth that was like
hanging off.
Maybe. Tastes like blood.
Did you eat it?
No. I'm like feeling with my tongue. I'm like exploring. No.
Don't explore. You literally just had surgery today.
It's okay. But the weirdest feeling is to like feel your tooth being cracked.
Oh,
like I can hear it, and there's like, cause they couldn't put me under, bro. Laughing gas is the worst, bro. Coming off of the laughing gas when I was going home, I felt like my body was tweaking. My brain was okay, but my body was losing its mind. It was like two separate things. I was like, bro, this is not good. This is not good.
Joe's sitting in the car and is like, he's like, and he sits up like this. And he goes, I'm tweaking on this laughing gas. I'm like, what are you even talking about? He looked like so cognizant and normal to me. He's like, well, he stopped by Whole Foods because he wanted ice cream. And he was like, I gotta go for a walk. I'm tweaking on this laughing gas. And he was like, drugs are not for me. And I was like, okay, have fun.
It's funny because it's so bad. I make a lot of drug jokes.
You do.
And you hate it.
Yeah, because it's like, why would you even joke about that?
But bro, I might have to change. That laughing gas taught me a lesson. It's not even drugs. It's not even drugs, but it's substances. Like
I thought you were saying like, oh, I need to change, aka I need to start going after the drugs. But I was like, isn't that what we just were talking about?
No, like I am not structured for that.
Well, also like that's nitrous oxide. It's like gas, so it's like different. I feel.
So you're saying I should try other stuff?
No, but I mean, like obviously, different types of drugs are gonna have different effects on your body.
Bro, I did
and
not.
on the way that you think.
I'm declaring that all drugs do the same.
Yeah.
So I'm not
drugs
getting on that
terrible,
speed.
They're bad.
I'm not getting on that coke.
Nope.
That meth.
Not that he was thinking
Bro,
about that.
I'm not
anyway.
trying to do
He was just making jokes.
any fentanyls, nothing.
No shrooms.
I don't think I could do the shrooms.
The psychedels, man. Well, I'm glad that you like.
This is gonna be a great clip.
I'm glad that you needed your experience with nitrous oxide to
bro,
kickstart you into that.
Wait, we gotta have we'll do another episode where I talk about what I was thinking about while they were cracking my teeth. Because I had some crazy thoughts, good thoughts, but very like interesting. But we're out of time, so we love you guys. Bye.
Bye.